Hey, I don't know about you, but I love St. Joe State Park. We love to ride our bikes there. We love to hike or walk the trail there. There's so many great things to do there, and I can't wait to hear more about it. So let's put our hands together and welcome Gregory, who's going to tell us all about it.
Just adjust this a little bit so I can see the screen. Okay, well, I would like to thank Tammy and the Park Hills Chamber of Commerce for inviting me out today, this opportunity to share a little bit more information about St. Joe State Park. The goal here is to maybe let everybody know, I know a lot of people are from the area, but I think a lot of things are going on at the park that even people from here don't realize. So, a little bit about me. Originally from Lesterville, Missouri, of all places. Attended Mineral Area College a lot longer ago than I'd care to admit, going on 30 years now. Matter of fact, I ran into Dr. Cozine at the Farmington Chamber function, and we sat and visited. I had a couple classes with him, so that was really neat. So I ended up finishing my degree at SEMO, and worked up in central Missouri, around Columbia, Missouri. I was law enforcement ranger for state parks for about 10 years. Was promoted to sergeant about halfway through there. I supervised about 12 rangers in northwest Missouri, including like the Ozark State Park and everything. Back in 2010, I transitioned over to park management, and I was at Bennett Springs State Park as the assistant superintendent for almost 2 years. And then they asked me to go to Quiver River State Park up near Troy, Missouri. And then fall of 2019, this guy named Bill Bonnell decided to retire. Nobody knows that guy, right? After 35 years, and our region office reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in interviewing, and here I am. So I started on February 1st of last year, and my plan was just to come in and take my time and learn the park, and everything was going to be normal. And then this thing called COVID happened, and nothing was normal for anybody. So, but here we go. St. Joe State Park. Let's see if this thing works. I brought my new assistant, Jill Bryant. Say hello to Jill. Because I've reached the age where technology is a little challenging to me, so she's my backup. So let's see if this thing works. A little bit of brief history. We're all familiar with the extensive mining area, or mining history in the area. That's a whole other presentation in itself. Skipping ahead to 1972, the St. Joe Mineral Corporation ceased operation in the area. They were trying to decide what to do with all this land over here in the area, and they thought, hey, we'll just give it to the state. They could do something with it. So went on. In 1976, St. Joe State Park is born. Areas underlay about 25% of the park, and remnants are all over the park. You can see that. You can see, you've probably seen the old head frame off of Pimville Road down by the equestrian parking lot. You go through the park, there's old railroad lines, things just out in the middle of nowhere, machinery. And then of course, Missouri Mines State Historic Site. Everybody's familiar with that. Most distinctive feature left over from that era, of course, is the sand flats, or the residue basically from the mining process, which they call tailings. It is the third largest of the 91 state parks, 8,243 acres, if you didn't know that. Johnson Shut-ins is slightly larger than us by about less than 200 acres. And then the biggest state park in Missouri is Lake the Ozark State Park at 18,000 acres. So we're right up there. Obviously a high emphasis on recreation in St. Joe, which I'll get into in just a little bit. We do have the largest trail system of any state park in Missouri at 92 miles. Soon to be almost 100 whenever we officially open up our mountain bike trail, which I'll tell you about. 400,000 plus visitation in 2020. I think that's inaccurate. Honestly, I think it's well above 450,000, but it's hard to get. We have counters in the park, but it's kind of hard to estimate that whenever you have multiple entries and everything. But 400,000 plus is easily justified. And I'd like to remind everybody that's 400,000 plus people that exit at Park Hills, that stop for gas, that stop and go in the grocery store, and they spend their money here. So I'm very proud of that we can contribute to the community. So, and we're within the city limits of Park Hills, if you didn't know that. So, what's to do at St. Joe? Well, what's not to do is probably more accurate. Obviously, the draw is off-road riding. Of the 8,000 acres, 8,200 acres, 2,000 acres is set aside for off-road riding. 800 acres is just the sand flats, as they refer to it. We have camping, we have fishing, we have swimming, canoe kayak rentals, if you didn't know about that. If you don't know how to canoe or kayak, we have classes to teach you. Hiking, obviously, mountain biking, equestrian trails. We have a very nice firing range in the park. How many people do that? Show of hands. Yeah. Well, Barry Wilfar, our range manager, is here. He's going to speak a little bit about that in a little bit. So we have a radio-controlled flying field in the park just for radio-controlled planes and drones, and only one in any state park in Missouri. We also have outdoor and indoor storage units. How many people knew that? And then, of course, Missouri Mine State Storage Site. So off-road riding, again, that's the draw to it, but my goal here today is to remind everybody that there's so much more going on at the park than just that. Obviously, when people think of the park, they're like, oh, we're going to go ride our four-wheelers or whatever, but there's so much more. 2,000 acres of riding area. The staging area is a comfortable place for you to unload your equipment. There's shelters there. I'll talk about the Donnelly Trailhead here in a minute. The staging area here, we have rent stations. So after you go out and get in the mud and everything, you can go clean your ATVs and UTVs off. There's several shelters down there if you want to have picnics. There's barbecue grills. Hem Lake Beach is actually adjacent to the off-road area. There is even a concession stand, and I bring this up because it is open for bid right now until tomorrow. The timing's kind of bad, but if you know of anybody that's interested in taking on this contract for the season that wants to run a concession stand, so basically you're selling hot dogs, hamburgers, some minor riding supplies, tire plugs, things like that, see me, please, because we can run it, the park staff can, but it's a lot with everything else going on. So we're really hoping we find somebody interested in it. So. Camping. We have two very nice campgrounds. I've worked for state parks for 22 years, and I can honestly say we have some of the nicest campgrounds in the system. Bill did an outstanding job putting these things together. I mean, they're very manicured. Basic electric sites with 30, 50 amp service. Campground 1, which is the largest campground. We have a shower house there, a dump station, pull-through sites. We do not have full hookup sites yet, but that's one of my goals for the future. You can ride your ATVs and UTVs, obviously, in Campground 1. There's trails that lead down to the riding area from there. Campground 2 was primarily meant for equestrians, but we don't get a lot of equestrians that camp there. We get a lot of regular campers, and it's very quiet, very nice. A lot of people don't realize it's there. Fishing, there's 4 lakes in the park. A lot of people probably have been down to Lake Monsanto, which is the one you can drive right up to, but there's 3 other lakes there. Monsanto and Pym Lake, you can drive up to. Jolie and Apollo are out in the riding area. Anybody's welcome to go out there. You just have to have a fishing pass, which is free, and a fishing license, which we don't sell at the office. But the fishing pass will get you from the staging area straight to the lake. We remind people it's not a pass to just go driving around out there. So, swimming, we have 2 very nice swim beaches, Monsanto and Pym. With a law enforcement background, I'm very dedicated to making it a family-friendly park. So we're very aggressive in patrolling the beaches, myself, and we have 2 law enforcement rangers that are assigned to the park. Alcohol is prohibited, no pets unless it's a service dog, no glass containers for obvious reasons, and 99% of the people that come there are just fine. We very rarely have any problems. There is also a very nice shelter in the Monsanto Beach area. There's a really nice sand volleyball court. There's an accessible fishing dock down there at Monsanto. The shelter is first come, first served. So we have 2 other very large shelters in the park too that I didn't include just because of the interest of time. So if you're interested in having a birthday party or some outdoor event, come and check them out. Give us a call. Canoe kayak rental. We have, I think, 14 watercraft, 4 canoes. We have tandem kayaks and we have single person kayaks. These are very comfortable kayaks. If you've never taken one out before, it's really easy. It's almost like paddling in a recliner, honestly. We provide all the equipment with the rental. I mentioned this before. State Parks has a program called Learn to Paddle, and basically teaches you how to kayak. We have 5 of those scheduled for this summer, and I can share those dates with you later on, but you can sign up for them online. We rent the canoes for $40 a day and the kayaks for $30 a day. So if you're interested in getting out, trying that out, and kayaking or canoeing, come and see us. We're going to start renting them out April 1st with our on season. Trails, 92 miles of trails. I like to remind people the paved trail there is 11 miles long, and we also have a 3-mile spur that goes to the Farmington Trailhead. No other state park has that. They have some paved trails, but nothing 11 miles long. It basically does a great big giant circle going just on the interior of the park. My wife loves it. We walk our dogs on it every day. I live in the park as part of the job, so we're a little spoiled. So off-road vehicle trails obviously make up the majority of the trail system. Hiking, mountain biking, equestrian trails are very popular. We even have a water trail, which sounds kind of funny, but it's basically a route along Lake Monsanto, and it features some points of interest around the lake that you can paddle around and check out. So, and we have the Sergeant Darrell S. Cole Memorial Shooting Range. That,
again, how many people are familiar with this? We have a few. Okay. Well, we had a great fall this year. September, October, November, we had over 1,000 shooters come through. And that's our all-time high for those 3 months. It's an all-time high for most people through there. And if you haven't been there, it is a great place to come sight your deer rifle in, of course, but it's also a lot of fun to come target shooting. And we have several people that are regulars that come up and come through there. And we are very hopeful to start breaking ground this spring on our trap and ski. We will be having trap and ski. We've been approved for the grant. We have one last little hurdle to jump through, but for the most part, it's 30 days that we should be ready to start breaking ground, is what Eric and I are both hopeful of. Along with that, we will also have archery. We will have 3D archery track through us, so that's another trail for you. And we will also have a static archery. And I hear a lot of people who come up, they want to know about the trap and ski, they want to know about the archery because they're very excited about that. And we will have one-stop shopping, basically, for outdoor archery and being able to shoot a gun up there. We are also, I'm going to pitch something for MAC from in the area. If y'all don't know it, it is a joint venture between us and the Department of Natural Resources that MAC has joined in this, and we operate it in Oregon College. And Eric gives me all the help with cutting the grass and keeping things nice and neat, so it's been great. And we plan on this summer holding the foundation. We're going to have some type of shoot and have a giveaway and do different things, kind of. And Kevin Thurman and I are working on that. We're hoping to do that in July. So we're hoping that comes up. And there was one more thing. I got to look at my notes that I wanted to bring up. One thing else that we do provide there, that I forgot to mention, is ammunition. And everybody's been looking for ammunition, right? And like, you know, we're in this phase right now where everybody's trying to buy all the ammunition out and everything else. But we've been able to kind of maintain a steady flow of that at the range. So if you know of anybody, come up, buy the ammunition from me. We are not trying to gouge you, but we are trying to make sure that people have some ammunition to be able to come out and shoot. So please let everybody know.
Nobody needs ammunition right now.
Nobody needs it. They have plenty. It's been ordered.
So Barry Wilfong, our range manager, is doing an outstanding job. We've been working together for the past year, and I can't say enough about him. Very passionate about promoting the range and getting the word out that it's there for everybody to use. So thank you, Barry. RC Flying Field, I mentioned this earlier. Only one in any state park in Missouri. From what I was told, it came about back in the 80s because there were several local flying groups that really wanted a nice place to fly their airplanes and everything. Of course, drones really weren't a thing back then. Now it's kind of a multi-use area for helicopters, planes, drones. Check out a key at the park office and check it back in when you're done. It's a very nice open area. There's some adjacent fields to it that we may look at doing something else with down the road, but right now, I mean, it's there if you want to go have a safe place to practice your flying. So, outdoor storage units and indoor storage units. How many people knew that we had storage available at the park? $35 a month. Now, I will tell you, the indoor storage units are full right now, and there's a waiting list, but we have quite a few spaces for outdoor storage. You need some place to put your boat or your camper. A lot of people, they don't want to haul their stuff back and forth. You know, they like to camp. St. Joe is like their destination, so it's worth it to them. I mean, how much fuel would it cost them if you leave 2 hours away? You know, more than $35 a month. So if you're interested, you know, give us a call. There's plenty of spaces available. You can't beat the price. So it is completely fenced in around, and as part of the rental, you get a code. There's an automatic gate, so you punch in a keypad to get you in. It's very secure. It's actually behind 2 lock gates, and then there's a mean-looking park superintendent that lives on site. Missouri Mines State Historic Site. Everybody drives down Highway 32 and looks off to the left and sees these big old buildings. Did anybody know there's a very nice museum there? How many people have been there? Show of hands. Okay, more than I thought. Really nice museum, a really nice mineral collection. They have guided tours. They're technically a separate facility, but they're still within the park. Archie Brink is the facility manager over there, so we work with him on different things. And so if you haven't been in there and you're looking for some place, especially with your kids, to check out and see a little bit of the mining history of the area, that's the place to go. So, Stewardship. Yeah, we get paid to set the park on fire sometimes. As a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, how many acres was that, Jill?
Just over 100, I think.
100 acres. So yeah, lots of fun. It's very good for the resource. It kills invasive plant species. It helps regenerate, encourage oak and hickory tree growth. And it kills ticks too, so that's a good thing.
Yay.
I do want to briefly mention, and this is a whole other presentation in itself, the Stellata natural area. And Stellata is a form of tree, if you didn't know that. I didn't. So this is an area that showcases 2,077 acres of high-quality grasslands, woodlands, and forest communities within St. Joe State Park, and now compromises 25% of the 8,243 acres. So this is a protected area, so that you can go out and you can enjoy nature as it's intended. It's never going to be developed, and I'm very proud of that, because that's part of our mission, is to protect our natural resources. There's so much that goes in behind the scenes that people don't realize. With invasive plant species eradication, garlic mustard, autumn olive, if you don't stay on top of that stuff, it will take over. Garlic mustard especially, people drive through in the wintertime and they see like green out in the woods and they think, well, that's great. Well, no, it takes over and prevents your oak and hickory trees from taking root, and it just becomes a big mess. We can thank the Europeans for that, for bringing it over and using it in their salads, so. Special events. We've got special events. So, Rally at the Mines is coming up in April 23rd, which is a UTV event. You have the Lead Belt Sprint Enduro, which is a motorcycle event, and that is May 23rd. Learn to paddle classes, I told you about that. If you want more information, see me after the presentation. You can sign up for them online, but basically beginner kayak classes. I used to teach them. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't done it, it's free. I encourage you to sign up. We have five of those, I think. One in June, July 11th, July 23rd, August 7th, and August 21st. So great to take the kids out, teach them how to kayak. The Tough Miner Weekend, which is a 8-mile run, I believe, and then the next day there is a mountain bike race. So if you're interested in that, check it out. It's a lot of fun. Lead Belt Hare Scrambles is another motorcycle race, and then we have a fall rally at the mines. And that's just what we know of right now. I mean, other people could come in and schedule special events, so. What's new and coming soon? I'll talk about the Donnelly Trailhead. Barry talked about phase 2 of the firing range, which is trap and skeet and 3D archery course. And then we have a mountain bike trail that's going to officially open. The Donnelly Trailhead, how many have heard of this? Okay, so it's open. Basically, this is a second entrance to the park for off-road riding. It was a partnership project with the City of Park Hills and Missouri State Parks, partially grant funded. There's a view of it, the trailhead in the parking lot right there. It's got very nice bathrooms. Basically, it's just like you're entering in the main entrance. You unload your vehicles there, and then you can access, and it takes us a trail leading to our riding area. You do have to have an online permit to access it. You can't go up and pay for one. You got to do that. You got to come to the main entrance. City of Park Hills residents, they have a permit that allows them to operate on city streets. They can literally drive right to the trailhead, show your permit, and drive right in. I'm going to predict that this will become the more popular entrance for off-road riding to St. Joe State Park. Not to speak out of school, but there's planned development for the area. I've heard hotel, gas station, car wash, restaurants. I think in a couple of years it's going to be a very big deal. So, and it's more convenient too. You come down Highway 67, you exit at Fairgrounds instead of driving all the way down 32 and all the way up Penville Road. It's a lot more convenient. So that's open. I'm a little nervous about it, but it'll be fine. So, trap and skeet range, Barry touched on that. This is an aerial view of the range. Do you have this picture, Barry?
No, I'd love to.
Yeah? Okay.
Send that one to.
I can do that. So, you see the range, you see the office/store down there. As part of the plans, I believe the 3D archery course is going to be back on the right.
Back on the left.
Back on the left, okay, we switched around. And then the traffic.
Static will be on the right.
Static will be on the right. The old buildings down there are old powder houses that they used to store explosives in. So we're going to leave one for interpretive purposes, but the others, we're going to have to bring in the Southeast Missouri Bomb Squad to oversee us burning them down so that nothing blows up. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So the new mountain bike trail, I say kinda. So the Missouri Mudders put this trail in as a temporary trail for the mountain bike race that I just mentioned about 4 years ago. After the race, people just kept using it. And park staff would try to block it off, and they just kept using it. So my predecessor finally decided, well, the easiest thing to do would be to seek permission to turn it into a permanent trail. We did get that permission, but it needs some minor reroutes. People are still using it. So we're hoping to get the reroutes finished before Memorial Day and officially open it. So it won't be a kind of trail anymore. So future projects and ideas, and I say ideas, so please don't walk out of here and go, Eric Gregory said we were gonna get a dog park, you know, and this is things I'd like to do. My wife and I don't have kids, but we have 3 dogs, all rescue dogs. I'm very passionate about that, so I'd love to do this. I thought at the other park that I was at, it's okay, you just put up a fence and, yeah, no, it's $100,000 plus project. I mean, there's very specific things that need to happen. Disc golf or frisbee golf, that is very easily done. I think we will move forward with that. I think it would be popular. It's just something else people would do. We try it out and not really have a lot of money invested. More special events. I'd love to see like a Heritage Days. I think there was something similar years ago they held at the park where you have blacksmiths and basket makers and turn of the century things. There was one at Arrow Rock State Park that I went to every year. It's really, really neat. So, also wouldn't mind hosting a Tough Mudder out at the park. Has anybody done a Tough Mudder? Yeah, I did it. I almost died, but I did it. It's fun. Full hookup sites I'm pushing for very aggressively. I think that it would be very well received. I'm always looking for new ideas. It's your park. Tell me what you want there. You know, I always remind people that you pay for it, come use it. You want something new, you let us know. That's what we're here for. So, questions? Yes, sir.
Is it? Are you allowed to bring your own personal kayak into any? Oh, awesome!
Absolutely. Yeah.
To fish and
yeah,
very cool.
We encourage it. Yeah. So. Yes, ma'am.
The Renaissance Festival, is that scheduled through you, or is that a private event?
We don't have a Renaissance Festival.
There's one that's gonna be going on Pinville Road.
There is?
Yeah, similar to one in St. Louis and, you know, the whole bit where you,
Yeah, they have one in Winsville.
right,
I've been to that. Yeah.
It'll be in, I think they're scheduled for May, if I remember right.
Is it on the city property on Pimpville? Might be. I haven't heard of it, so.
I don't know if that's part of the park or not. It's that property on the left-hand side, right before the RV, remote control.
Okay,
If it's not in the park, it's adjacent.
okay. Well, that would be neat.
They had a Native American festival there at one time.
Yeah, the rendezvous.
Rendezvous, that's what I was referring to earlier. Yeah, I would
Right.
love to do something like that, and if you know whoever this is that wants to do Renaissance,
They planned it, and it's on a calendar, so I can give you her name, and
yeah, that'd be nice if there was
I just
something
know for sure that they were.
going on that I don't know about, so.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Yes, sir.
What about the youth hunts? Are they gonna keep that out?
I don't think we have yet, like, we had a deer hunt in December. It's not specifically a youth hunt. I would like to have a youth hunt or a veterans hunt. We do have one scheduled again for this December because we just didn't have enough deer taken.
How many deer did they take?
Like 75. Yeah, not enough. And I encouraged people, everybody wanted to park at the trailheads along Penville Road and walk down the bike trail, but nobody went over on the mine side. And
Okay.
so deer kind of run away from the noise and people, you know, so. Yes, sir.
In your picture, the overhead of that shooting range is interesting for me to note that that's concrete. The whole thing is concrete. They forced us to do concrete because they said that if the shooter would hit a rock and deflect and go up, and then it would go up into the park. And so they wanted it to be all concrete, so if there was a low shot that it would deflect off and stay down low. I thought that was an interesting concept. I can't imagine it hitting a rock and going up that angle, but they said it's possible. So it added to the cost considerably.
Yes, well, whenever you think about how far a rifle round would travel, that makes sense. And then you have the world's biggest berm with a dam there. So I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, so.
That was what I thought.
Well, thank you for helping with the project, sir. Other questions? Nope. Yes.
On the storage area, or on the indoor ones, are those all standard door size, or do you have some larger overhead doors for?
They're standard door size, yeah. I'm not saying we won't get some bigger ones in at
I
some
didn't know if
point.
like indoor boat storage or RV storage or anything like that.
They're not big, like a lot of people use them for ATVs, things like that, UTVs, so. Anybody else? So I brought some park brochures, camping information, my business cards are over there, please help yourself, and again, please reach out to me if there's anything that you have questions about later on, or anything new you want to see at the park, please contact me at your convenience. So, thank you for your time. I was happy to be here, and if there's no other questions, that's all I got. Thank you.